companies to startups and individuals, creating a simple logo to complete rebranding and delivering visual communication with print media. Everything SOS Graphic Design does has a single unifying objective: to set your business apart. We are at your 2166. That's 2166, or online at SOSGraphicDesigns.com.
Well, we're moving on now to
Sisters Braid 2 Hair Braiding and Natural Hair Care Salon, located at 18270 Mount Elliott Street. Our new salon is spacious with adequate parking, salon equipment. Come meet your local hair braiders and check out our many hair care services, such as hair treatments, box braids, cornrows, tree braids, Havana twists, children's braids, natural twists, goddess locks, updos, full weaves, and more. Us on the web at www.sistersbraid2.com or call 313-826-0498 for exceptional care for exceptional hair. We look forward to is a proud recipient of the Unity and Rebuilding Fund.
We would like to invite you to help support the efforts of the Unity and Rebuilding Fund. Visit the website at unityandrebuildingfund.com. www.unityandrebuildingfund.com. We often hear how we need to work together and rebuild the city. Online donations and click on links to track the progress. And for more information, 313-868-0000 is a local number. Again, 313-868-0000.
Have you ever searched through a show? Still couldn't find the one that echoes how you felt? Well, search no more and call Design by Deej. We offer version cards are one-of-a-kind, cheap-based items that your recipient will mantle with all of their other beautiful and treasured items. We also offer holiday cards. With Designs by Deej, no holiday will go. These greeting cards are sure to celebrate all. We also have cards for special occasions. We are your one-stop shop for unique and three-dimensional, handmade, special custom orders. Every card is crafted with care and made with love. So call Designs by Deej today at 601-451-9. Website www.designsbydeej.
WGPR Detroit, HD2. F, Highland Park, Detroit. FM 88.1 WHPR. VIE 107.3. Virgin Islands.
The views and opinions expressed on the following show are not necessarily the views and opinions of WHP or sponsors.
Brothers and sisters, are you tired of reading the Holy Scripture and not really understanding what you read? And if you that
Started.
You know
Conference recording.
In your home, then let's talk with one another. Then let's reason with one another on a scriptural discussion with the Son of Man every Wednesday at 9 p.m. and Sunday at 12 noon. Detroit Live, 88.1 FM, WHP. Comcast Cable. Why don't you call and discuss the Holy Bible? And if you have one, the Holy Quran, and come to an agreement about the Holy Scripture. You can call in live on the air at area code 313-868-4336, 313-868, or 313-868-013, 868-4336, 313-0342, or 313 888-668-0351. And now, let's go live with a scriptural with the Son of Man.
The most merciful, the truthful, and the most just. Pardon me. In the name of Allah, the beneficent, the most merciful, the truthful, and the most just. I greet all of you once again who are hungry and thirsty for Allah's righteousness. I greet you all with the greeting words of peace. May Allah's salam alaikum. We want to, before we get into any subject matter, hear from those who think they may have a disagreement or an argument for us. But I want to warn you, don't come in here with your foolishness, or I'm just going to cast you into hell and be through with you. So, when in the history of us and dealing with Caucasian people, you saw an example of that the other evening. When they can't actually condemn what you are saying, they try to turn it into an insulting match, try to get you to lower yourself to playing the dozens with them. But that don't work on me, not no more. I have risen above that. So, going back and forth insulting people, we used to do that in school. Talk about each other's mama, talk about each other's looks and all of that kind of thing. Talk about how each other smell and all that kind of thing. But that's foolishness. You got no time for that. So when you come in here with that kind of foolishness, know this: I'm going to cast you into hell and I'm going to be through with you. Because this is not the place for it. I've never seen you do that in anyone's church service. And I went to many churches in my life, but I never heard anyone do that in church. So I know you know better. So when you do it in here, I'm going to cast you into hell. Now, what is it, brother?
Yes, sir. Tim Smith says, this man is a liar, the so-called...
Well, just a moment. If he really thought I was a liar, didn't I offer $50,000 to anyone who could prove I'm not telling the truth? Okay. Well, what does that tell you? What does that statement of his tell you?
That he's a liar.
Thank you. All right. So I don't need to hear nothing else from him. Now, what's the next one?
Yes, sir. Stephen Stone II says, you don't even know the ingredients of that concoction.
I don't know the ingredients on a lot of things that, you eat stuff every day that you don't know the ingredients on. Even when it's listed there, you don't even know what that stuff is. Let me see. Yes, Mo. Let me see. Let's see. I know what yellow cornmeal, expeller pressed high oleic oil. I don't know what that is, but it does say sunflower, safflower, and or canola, cheddar cheese, pasteurized milk, salt, annatto extract. What is annatto extract? For color. It says cheese culture in pepper, blue cheese, pasteurized salt, cheese cultures, enzymes. Now, cheese cultures mean there's some stuff that comes from cheese, I assume, but it don't name them all. Let's see here. Pasteurized milk, salt, cheese cultures, enzymes, onion powder, jalapeno pepper, garlic powder, lactic acid, annatto, and paprika extract for color, tocopherols. What is that? Antioxidants to preserve freshness. So, I mean, so you said that to say what? See, I told you, these people, let me tell you something. People who think they really have something of substance to share with you in a forum where it is vocal, they don't waste their time typing something when they could come in there and talk to you. Do you understand? Those people are frightened. That's them people like them people who attacked the Capitol, claiming that they was up there because Donald Trump called them up there. Well, they was using Donald Trump as an excuse, but they was just a mob of people who want to destroy the American government. That's all. Just a mob of frustrated people, that white people that's in a white country and couldn't make it when the deck was stacked in your favor. Wasn't nothing holding you back but your lazy self. And white people that's honest and just, they agree with me. You got nobody to blame for being a poor white man or white woman but your own lazy self. So you find excuses to blame somebody, blame the Mexicans, blame everybody, blame the nigger, blame everybody but yourself. Because you too trifling to get up and go and educate yourself. And you don't even have to educate yourself. They even give you fictitious titles to let you get in and learn it on the job. But you just lazy. So don't be coming in here throwing that more crazy lines at me. I don't want to hear it. You know, you're a coward. You know, I have respect for people like, look, you remember when Mr. Thomas Robb came in here? The head of the Ku Klux Klan. Now, he came in and talked to me. And you notice when we had a conversation, it was respectful. But you ain't nothing but a overgrown, let me see, the devil said, let us go into the swine. That's you. That's a nasty mind with any lie, any something that an intelligent person wouldn't listen to. Even the lawyers for Donald Trump said that the only people who wouldn't nobody that's sane believe the stuff that she was saying. She used that as an excuse in court to tell you she thinks all of you are insane and she's taking advantage of your insanity. But anyway, what's the next one, brother? Was that it?
Yes, sir.
Oh, man, I was getting ready. You know, a lot of people don't realize. Read the rest of what he said. We didn't finish. I kind of cut it off when he said I didn't know what was in that shot that they gave me. No, I didn't.
Yes,
and if they had told me what was in there, I still wouldn't know.
He says, You don't even know the ingredients of that concoction. Shaking my head.
Right. Yeah. Shaking your head. That's somebody who thinks that they can just throw something out there. See, that wasn't even aimed at me. He wanted to leave that on our site. Do you understand? Take it off. I'm not going to let you come in here and promote a lie and promote distrust in people who know more about viruses than we know about information you want to come and bring in here. You notice, what was that? That was to create what? Suspicion. The Holy Quran says, find it for me. I got another thing. It says, oh, you who believe, avoid suspicion. For most suspicion is sin. Because you're thinking evil and thinking bad about someone without evidence that justifies it. Chapter 49. See, you know, Allah's word protect you and me from any kind of tricks of the devil. And you notice that's what the book says. Put on the whole armor of God that you may to stand against the tricks of the devil. Huh? Now, what if I didn't know what the Holy Quran says? Now, he come in here trying to create suspicion. 49 and what? It says in the 12th verse, it says, oh, you who believe, avoid most suspicion. For surely suspicion in some cases is sin. And spy not, nor let some of you backbite others. Does one of you like to eat the flesh of his dead brother? In other words, if you got something that you got to say about a person, face them. That's even in the Constitution of the United States. That a person has a right to face their accuser. Don't even come in here and face me. Because they know I'm going to ask them questions about them coming in here trying to put forth their suspicions. You know, even when the police have a suspicion, there is the real police I'm talking about. There is something that caused it. It's just like if he see you zigzagging down the street and he's behind you and watching your car zigzagging down the street, that's not even a bet. I know he gonna pull you over. Why? Because you created a suspicion in his mind. By your actions, you became suspect of maybe you not you driving under the influence of something, and he pulled you over. That was his probable cause of suspicion. But for you to come in here, I noticed you didn't have nothing to say when all of these people was dying from this COVID-19. You didn't come in here and get in a discussion with me about COVID-19 and how many people it was killing. You didn't give a damn. But now that the vaccine is saving people's lives, you what? You upset? Have you found someone that vaccine has killed? I know someone that COVID-19 killed. And so does many of my followers. It was one of my followers' relatives died of that. And I spoke to her before she passed. And, I couldn't do nothing for her, but just listen to her tell me that she was afraid. And I just told her, well, rest assured in this knowledge that whatever Allah please, that's what will be. Not a follower of mine, but she was a friend in the sense of knowing her for years. And we had never had any cross words with each other. Matter of fact, she was always kind. She just never decided that she wanted to follow me. I know others that have been friends to me like that had that virus. And I prayed for them. And Allah answered my prayer for some of them, and others, it makes no difference what I ask for. If Allah intends to take you, then that's that. There's nothing I can do about that. If Allah intends to take me away, ain't nothing I can do about that. Take that vaccine or not. And when I says, let every soul, that means me too, be subject unto those who are more knowledgeable than yourself. Because all knowledge, all the power, all of the knowledge comes from God. Just like Moses. I thought about Moses' history, where it's written that the death angel was going to pass through Egypt, and Allah instructed Moses to tell his followers to put a blood sign on the door. And when the death angel saw the blood sign, he would pass over them. Now we're finding out that Pfizer and Moderna, those vaccines, are causing this new strand, that Delta virus, the Delta strand of COVID, to pass over some of us. It's not that it's proven to be effective in that too. So I'm glad that I listened to Allah instead of listening to some of you all running around here still stuck on your racism and your belief that color determines whether someone is a decent person or not. So I don't relish the idea of seeing anybody die. And I certainly don't want to be the cause of it. So you don't care about you, and you don't care about others. You got more nerve than me. If I was going to take a chance with other people's life, I'd at least tell them I'm taking a chance. I don't know no more than you do about this situation. But when you've seen so many people get vaccinated and they seem to be doing fine, why would you try to hinder someone for putting some protection on themselves from something that you can't see that can kill you? I know what Allah promised me. He promised me that wouldn't even come near me. But he did say, let me read it to you. This is in the book of Psalms, and it's the 91st 91st chapter. It says, and I'm going to cut to the chase. It's the 5th verse. It says, thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor for the arrow that flieth by day, meaning the bullets and by the people who creep up, call themselves going to blow you up and all that old stuff. Nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness. I mean, anything that's so small that you could put 100 million of them on the head of a pin, even in broad daylight, that thing is in darkness to you. Huh? The pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday. 1,000 shall fall at thy side. There's been more than thousands of my neighbors dying all over this country and all over the world. And 10,000 at thy right hand. So you look at the people in Mississippi that have died from that. And then look at the tens of thousands that I've heard about in my brain. My brain is my right hand. 10,000 at thy right hand. It says, but it shall not come nigh to thee. So I didn't take it because I thought it was going to get me. I took it to help the president, like I said I would. He said that he wanted to get at least 70% of the people vaccinated by July 4th. He almost reached that goal, in spite of all of you people out there that's standing in the way. So I took it, and I took it publicly. And I did it out of respect for the president and what I have seen of him, and to show you that I meant it when I said that I believe he's a decent, upright human being. At least a man that desires to do what is right. And I don't care what color his skin is. He's a decent man. Now, if you got a problem, it ain't mine. And I know others that look just like him that are the same. So if you want to practice racism, you go right ahead. But that's not my thing. So when you hear me talking about white people, I'm talking about them. Let a white man or white woman come in here and tell me what lie they heard me say or tell on them. I have not lied on them. The word of God calls them devils. So I call them devils. But they didn't have to stay that way. They called us Negroes, but I ain't no Negro no more. The Negro is the product of what they made out of us. The affliction of 400 years left us in that condition of being niggardly and, as they say, selfish, stingy, haters of our own selves. But I'm not that now, because I've been born again. All praise is due to Allah. As the book says, for Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light. As Allah's way of showing me that, yes, the man of sin can be transformed if you will take him the truth. So warn him, give him warning from me. That's what Allah told me to do. And that's what I'm doing. Now, if you want to call yourself upset because I'm telling the truth on you, well, you just upset. But ain't no sense you calling up here jaw-jacking at me. If you didn't like the fact that I told the people the truth about what you did, you shouldn't have done it. But anyway.
Sir, we have another question.
Yes, what is it?
From Vincent Verona, and he asks, in Mark chapter 7, does Jesus say that there are no such thing as unclean foods?
In Mark chapter 7, let's see here. What verse is he going to? But when I think I know where he's headed there, it says that which is it is not that which goes into a man that defileth the man, but that which comes out. For let's see here. Let's see. No, just give me a minute here, brother. You know, it says, let's start at the, let's start at the 14th verse. It says, and when he had called all the people unto him, he said unto them, hearken unto me. And he said, hearken unto me, every one of you, and understand. There is nothing from without a man that entering into him can defile him. Which come out of him, those are they that defile the man. If any man have ears to hear, let him hear. You notice, it sounds like he's saying one thing, but you have to remember something. No messenger of God can contradict another messenger of God. Moses said that the swine, though it divided the hoof, yet it cheweth not the cud. It is unclean unto you. Ye shall not eat of their flesh, nor touch their dead carcass. Now, what is it that comes out of a man that defiles him? His words and his deeds. So if I see you sitting over there eating that which God told you not to eat, that defiles you in my eyes, because you had no business doing that when God said don't. Do you understand? That's why it said, he that hath ears, let him hear. That's why you were told, don't trust in your own understanding. You were told to wait on me. The book says, wait on the Lord. It says, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not to your own understanding of his word. And in all your scriptures, in all your ways, acknowledge him, and he will direct you on the right path. And that's what, so you notice everything you see a man doing, just like you see a man robbing a bank, then in your eyes, he is defiled because he's a robber. That came out of him, came out of his mind. The real him is the mind that's in him. Do you understand? That which comes out of him, that defiles him. I didn't hear you. All right. You see, because I'm going to show you something. Somebody can come up to you and tell you, hey, man, I want you to help me rob this bank. Okay, that went into you. That went into your ear. But not that which goes in defileth the man, but that which comes out. Huh? Now, you understand what I'm saying? I mean, you didn't have to. You could have told him, man, are you out of your mind? I'm not going to help you do nothing. But it did go in. But it did not become an instruction that you gave to your hands to defile yourself. Huh?
Yes, sir.
All right. So now you understand. That was a good question, Vincent.
And we have a statement here from Monopoly. That's a screen name. And he says, "Son of man, all of my friends and family keep complaining to me that President Joe Biden has yet to do anything."
Well, Joe Biden, in the first place, what did President Trump do for you? That's the first thing that I would ask any and one of them. He got you walking around. President Trump is the reason why we is all walking around here wearing masks. Because we was dying like flies around here. Now, Joe Biden has been in office 6 months. It is a truth that you can build a house. I've seen them build a house in a week. The Habitat for Humanity or something like that. They build a house in a week or 2 weeks, and the house is finished. But you can tear it down in a day. It is always easier to mess something up. You can take a string and tie it into a bunch of knots. And you can do that in less than a minute. But it's going to take longer than a minute for somebody to untangle it with you tied in knots. You see, you are a bunch of ungrateful people. Now, I'm just telling you, that's what you are. You're just ungrateful. And that's why you winded up with a president like Trump. Because you are not grateful when people really care about you and try to help you. You always try to figure out a way to hurt their feelings or to say something, but in the first place, you don't like to see them be successful and praised. That offends you. You just want to find something to complain about. Now, I know where you headed with that. Talking about Joe Biden ain't talking about the laws of your voter rights and all of that kind of thing. He still got three and a half years to go in his presidency. And I'm going to tell you something else. If you get up off your behind in the next election and get out there and vote, you can fill the Senate and the House of Representatives with honest people. And they can undo the mess that all of these crooks in government all over the states are doing. I'm not a person who, like I said, I'm not interested in trying to take over white people's house. This their house. So it ain't no sense in coming up to me thinking that I'm somehow trying to make him treat me as his equal in his house. No, I know better. Only thing I want him to do to me is put himself in my position and then ask himself, if I was in their position and they was in my position, how would I expect to be treated if they was taxing me and uh, uh, treating me as an equal when it comes to taxes? And the answer to that has already been known. In their history books, they taught us that taxation without representation is tyranny. So the only thing I need to know now from them is, have you decided that you want to be a tyrant now? That this government is a tyrannical government? And if not, well, then the Constitution already says that no citizen, the 15th Amendment tells you that you don't have the right to get in the way of citizens who want to vote. The right of the vote for citizens shall not be abridged. Now, as long as I'm in your country, even the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he said, as long as we are living in America, you will always find us to be peaceful citizens of yours. Now, if you want to mistreat us, okay. That's what that reminder there is, Elsa. Okay. You think this stuff gonna pass over? You talking about hurricane season? Pretty soon, you gonna think that is every day. Every day is hurricane and season and storm season. Okay. Now you making this bed, you one gonna have to lay in it. So brother, I wouldn't spend. I tell you what you do for your relatives. You tell them they need to come in here and ask their questions to me if they really had questions. That's just somebody that wants to have something to gripe about. Here, Joe Biden done did more in 6 months than that man that was in there uh, in the way of good. He done did more in 6 months. He did more in 1 month than Donald Trump did in the whole 4 years he was in there, as far as good go. You know, I mean, so you want to tear Joe Biden down and replace him with who? Oh, I'm not going to even entertain that. That's wrong. That's evil. I'm not expecting Joe Biden to turn on his people for me. Just like I'm not going to turn on my people for white people. I will talk about my people. Some of them low down, but they're still my people. And I want to help them. So I understand Joe Biden wants to help them on the right. He wants to help them. He don't like what they're doing, but they're still his people. And I wouldn't respect him if he did it any other way. Because I sure ain't gonna help you kill my people. If I'm gonna die helping my people. All of them. And believe me, I fuss at black people more than I do white folks. Well, it's because the truth of the matter is I do love my people more than others. My people done suffered more than anybody else. They have a greater excuse to be like they are than anybody else. Let's see you go through 400 years of what white people put us through and see how you come out acting. So I'm glad he ain't up there talking trash against his own people. If a man don't love his own people, how in the world he gonna know how to love my people? Love your neighbor as who? Well, love my people as you love yours. That's just simple arithmetic to me. Anyway, that's enough on that. Was there more?
No, sir.
Did you read the brother's whole statement?
The last one about President Biden? No, sir, I didn't.
Yeah. Read the whole statement so people will know that I got ahead of them, but I knew where they was going with that. They upset because he ain't did nothing about the voting, people stripping their voting rights away from them and whatnot. Well, it takes time. Even Joe Manchin and Miss Seneca or whatever, I guess that's her name. I don't mean any disrespect, but they walking a tightrope. They want to bring their people back together. This country is white people are divided against white people, and they know that a house divided against itself cannot stand. And at the same time, if you think that you can go back to things that you already condemned and keep the respect of the world that's around you, you turning the whole world against the United States. Because they see that, you remember people used to accuse us of teaching hate against white people. You remember that? Now you showing them that everything we said about you is true. So you keep on. You're gonna wish you had corrected yourself. You're gonna wish you had resisted your devils, your evil thoughts. Now people telling you, just go on and let it out. Be yourself. Don't be feeling bad about how you ain't nothing wrong with you. Okay, keep thinking you can live life and not be self-conscious and not be self-restricting and whatnot. That's part of being a man. It's not saying everything you think and not doing everything you feel. Children say everything they think and do whatever they feel like doing. And that's why when you ask them, when you get on them and they did something they hadn't been, you ask, oh, why'd you do that? I don't know. He ain't gonna say because I felt like it, but that's why he did it, because he felt like it. My daddy beat that stuff out of me. Foolishness is bound up in the bosom of a child, but the rod of correction will drive it far from him. My daddy didn't have to keep on putting it on me. He put it on me right. And I guarantee you that I had stripes to prove it. When he finished, I had plenty of stripes. But I ain't got none of them on me now. You see, we call them whips, but the scripture call them stripes. And so, but he beat that foolishness out of me. Letting me know you can't do things just because you feel like doing them. Well, he was preparing me for manhood. That's one of the things that kept me from running away when I got in boot camp. In the Marine Corps. I felt like going AWOL because the minute that man started cussing at us and talking to us like we was nothing, I said to myself, what the world I got myself into here? And get yourself over there on them yellow footprints. and shut your mouth. And, I mean, but they cussed at you. And I was ready right then to tear that contract up. But that didn't get it. I got myself in it. And so all the rest of them were standing there, white boys and the black ones too. They was all standing there next to me. And I said, well, if they can take it, I can too. And I was, I'm here now. And so, and before it was over with, you know, I felt like I became a stronger man. Yeah. It's like people coming in here hoorahing and going around. When him hollering at us, I was used to being hollered at. My daddy hollered at me all the time. So that wasn't no big thing to me. But cussing at me, nah, my daddy didn't curse. And I never heard my daddy curse. Ever. My mother either. And but you know, when they did that, you know, that kind of ruffled my feathers a little. You know, I didn't like people cursing at me. But I kept that to myself too. You know, I controlled myself on that, you know, mouthing off. I wasn't used to mouthing off at people that were my elder anyway. I knew better. You know, my father and mother, I didn't realize that they was instilling in me something that would not only prolong my life, but it would make people not mind helping me. You know, I learned to control my tongue. Thanks to my parents. They taught me to control my tongue. If my daddy heard me mumbling too loud, he said, boy, what did you say? Come here. He said, I'll teach you to be mumbling and going on when I'm finished with. And he beat me again. So I learned to mumble lower. You understand? So, you know, but he was teaching me. You know, and so I'm just thankful. I had, and you know, his trouble is I had friends that I've heard them say that when I grow up, I ain't gonna do my children like this. I ain't gonna do this and I ain't gonna do that. I was saying that because in the first place, every whipping I got, I knew I deserved it. Well, no, you know, I mean, a lot of times when I got a whipping, that was just the time they caught me. It wasn't the first time I did it. That was the first time I got caught. You understand? Man, I ain't gonna tell you I was no good child all my life. No, I was not. I was all boy. So you know. So I'm not the person who condemns people so quick. You know, because I've been there, did that. And, you know, I say to you young men that, you know, when daddy ain't around, you take misadvantage of your mama. Don't do that. Don't do that. Respect your mother's word. You know, I know how it go. You know, mama's whoopings don't hurt, and mama let you get away with stuff that, you know, daddy wouldn't go for. But and you fathers, look, man, if mama tell you so and so need a whipping, you put the whipping on him, and you can find out what he did later, so that they will know that if mama says she gonna tell daddy, you got something coming. You better see if you can talk out of telling him or whatever. Because if my mother says she's gonna tell your daddy, tell your daddy, that was it. I'd plead and go off. She said, I'm gonna tell your daddy, and you know, I'd get my whipping when he got home, and Marvin need a whipping. Get in there, boy. That's the Ain't no sense me telling my I didn't do it or whatever. I wasn't gonna say that. No, mama lying on you. Oh, come here. And so anyway, like I told you, I had the best parents that a youngster could ask for, especially somebody like me. Yeah, because if they had not been strict, I wouldn't have. I'd have ran over. You do what you think you can get away with. So that's little boys thinking. Looking at his daddy. Talking about I'd like to. Yeah, you'd like to what? As he said, I brought you in this world and I'll take you away from here, boy. No. He meant that too. My daddy shot, let me see. Was it one or two of them? I know he shot one of my brothers. He didn't kill him. He shot him in the leg. And they come around there talking crazy and talking about he gonna jump on my dad. He said, "You just he didn't get away quick enough." He got out there with that shotgun. Shot him. Police didn't do nothing either. So you can't go over there beating up on your daddy, man. If you want to honor the mother and the father without whom you wouldn't even be here. If you want to honor them, who will you honor? I know my daddy wasn't perfect, and I know my mother wasn't perfect. But I wasn't their judge. I was their son. And they took care of me when I couldn't take care of myself. And for that, I'm thankful. And for that, I ask Allah, please take care of my parents. The Holy Quran teaches us to say that. They took care of me when I was little. And I will always be grateful and thankful that Allah blessed me with those kind of parents. And if your parents don't measure up to your standard, well, look at your world. You ain't got no standard. And it all started with you. I'll be glad when I grew up. Sure, I won't raise my children like I was raised. And look at the world you done gave these children. Little boy ain't even safe to be in the Cub Scouts. Ain't safe to be nowhere about some pervert trying to attack him and rape him. So, I had people do stuff to me when I was a little boy that they had no business doing. But I ain't that little boy no more. And I ain't still carrying that baggage. Well, who did it? None of your business. You can't undo it. And when I saw them, I don't hardly see them no more because some of them gone now, passed away. But I forgave all that stuff and move on. So, and this world is filled with wickedness. So I just ain't never been the kind of person who just carry stuff. I just don't do that. I think I got that honest. My mother, she was like that. And my daddy too. If he had something to say about you, he'd say it and be through it. Unless you brought it back up. don't know how I even got on there. Oh, what goes in, not what goes into a man, but what comes out, that defileth the man. That's why he said, he that hath ears to hear, let him hear. See, you heard one thing and you found out your understanding of what you was hearing wasn't what was really being said. Huh? Okay. So, that's one of the reasons why the Jews, they hated what he was saying. They thought he was contradicting Moses. And he was not contradicting Moses. He was just speaking in language that they couldn't understand. So, anyway, and if they had really loved Moses, they would have loved Jesus. You see? If they trusted Moses, they would have trusted Jesus. See, but they gave Moses a hard time. He gave him such a hard time, he had him scared to go up in the mountain of God, because he took 300 of them up there and blew it up and killed them. And they didn't want to go up in God's mountain no more. So Moses got in trouble for that. But he told the scientists, he said, you just don't know how hard it is to teach these devils. And so they got on him about that. Oh, teaching us is hard. You heard the messenger talk about it. He said, you are the most silliest people that ever lived on the earth. He said, don't nobody want you but God and myself. He said, and they start clapping. I said, boy, that's something. I wasn't in the nation then, but I heard the messenger talking about them, how silly we are. And that's the truth. But he was showing me what I have to put up with. And it's okay. You know, I don't have no intentions of just quitting on you. I'll quit when Allah say quit. But I ain't in no hurry to watch you be lost. I want to save as many of you as I can. That's why I talk to you. Now, I want you to remember now. I'm going to let you hear the messenger tell you some things. And okay. We have much that we want to share with you. Just give me a minute. You know, it's amazing how I feel I realize that the scripture says, remember let me find it. Remember the Lord in the days of thy youth. Remember Allah in the days of thy youth. Let me find it. Let's see. Beg your pardon? Okay. It's in Ecclesiastes, 11th chapter. Just a moment. You see, I'm proving that these is true sayings. Let's see here. This is the 12th chapter, and this is the first verse. It says, remember now thy Creator in the days of thy youth. The evil days come not, nor draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. Yeah, I bear witness. I used to look at people, my elders, and as they got older, I used to dread getting old because it seemed like it would be so miserable to not be able to walk, to not be able to, you see them walking and they barely can step. That looked like such a terrible thing. And so I'm so thankful that, I have my aches and pains now. Don't get me wrong. I have them. I've reached the big 7-0, and I have them little aches and pains, but I can still run and I can still walk upright without being humped over. And I remember the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that I would never be able to thank him for it. How do you thank somebody for giving you the wisdom of an old man at a young age? That's what he did for me. When I was 22, he taught me how to eat to live, along with many others. And he, with the help of the other prophets, like the Revelator said, hold that fast which thou hast, lest any man take thy crown. You know how you can determine faith? Faith that is seen is not faith. You remember Indiana Jones, The Last Crusade? You remember when he got to the edge and he said, only in the leap from the lion's head will he prove his worth? And he said, I can't jump across there. There's a big old wide chasm there. And his father told him only in the leap from the, he says, it's a leap of faith. And so he put his head over his heart and he stepped out not knowing whether he was going to fall or not. He just stepped out. And then as he stepped down on it, he saw that there was a bridge there that he couldn't see. So that was an example of faith. And so the book says, hold that fast which thou hast. Hold what? Faith in the teachings that I didn't understand. I didn't understand everything the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught. I didn't understand the Holy Bible. But I trusted, I had faith that it is the word of God. I had faith that he was the messenger of God. And nobody could take that away from me. Be thou faithful unto death. Meaning, unto even misunderstanding, unto the word that you was told and you didn't understand it. I mean, look, let me tell you something. When I heard the messenger say there are white Muslims in America and lots of them, that threw me for a loop. I thought he had contradicted himself for a minute there. Just I could have said, he done messed up now. Thought he said white man and the devil. And then he also in the lessons, he said, are there any Muslims other than righteous? He said, I beg your pardon, I never heard of one. But since I trusted that he was the messenger of God, I just decided I'd leave that alone until Allah revealed to me the understanding of it. And that was that. I know one thing, it sure made me go and study the scriptures more. And the more I studied, the more I learned. Until now, I don't contradict no messenger of God. The teachings and the understanding that I give you, you notice, you think people ain't studying the scriptures and studying the Bible and studying the Holy Quran behind me. Oh yeah, they looking for something in there that I'm saying something that contradicts. And they ain't found it yet. As Allah told me, study to show thyself approved unto God. He called them gods whom the word of God came with. You see, so they were gods. And all of them approve of me. And the way you know that is you go into their words and you can't find nothing to contradict me. And you don't find me contradicting them. I verify them and they verify me. I am in the Father and the Father is in me. You see. So because I was taught how to eat to live and I stuck with it, now I'm 70 years old and I almost get around as good as I did when I was 16. Oh, getting to be where age ain't nothing but a number. So all praise is due to Allah. I'm thankful. And that's what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad did for me. Now I'm going to let you hear him.
He says, until I have found, then I will bring him again. Tell Abraham that I will go up and bring them again. Right here in this same place where they left from. This is the prophecy I made to Abraham. Though he go astray, but yet I will go after him, and I will bring him again. He must have that which I promised you, Abraham, that I would give. I want to give him the earth. Strangers is ruling the earth. I want to give it to him. It's his earth. Abraham, I'm going after. I'm going to search the whole earth until I find. And those enemies that have him, I will bring him, but I will miserably destroy his enemies. So he have come and found us, take us by going to war to take you and me again.
looked over Jordan, did I see? Carry me home, a band of angels coming after me, coming for to carry me home. You know, I went to Jordan High School in Watts, California. And some of them brothers that used to fight, and they were some tough brothers, you know. I grew up with some tough brothers. And when we got out of, got out of high school and whatnot, I didn't hardly see none of them brothers no more. I was wondering what happened to them. Meanwhile, I went to work for Norris Industries right out of high school, and a defense plant. And I was an inspector there for a little while. And then I know I told you about it, but some people listening that don't know. But anyway, I got bored and restless. So that's when I joined the Marine Corps in '69. And wind up in Vietnam in September of '69. And then came back and did another year and a half or 2 years in went to Quantico, went to North Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. I think that's where it's at. Camp Lejeune, and did almost a year there, and then came back to Pendleton. And I was about a nervous wreck by the time I got back to Pendleton. I told him, man, I got to get out of here. And so I went and got myself rolled up. And the colonel asked me what my problem was. I told him it was the corpsmen. The Navy is the ones that, the doctors and stuff, most of them were corpsmen. And so he talked to me for a little while and gave me some Valiums and stuff to kind of calm my nerves and whatnot, and did a psych evaluation on me, and wrote up that I was unable to adapt to military service. And so they gave me a general discharge under honorable conditions. See, I didn't just up and go AWOL. I didn't just quit. I told them that I wasn't going to do it no more. I would, same way I told them I would join, I told them I was quitting. So they let me out. I got all my GI benefits and all of that. And so as I was, going from this to that, pillar to post, and I started, I worked for Winter Business School for a while, recruiting students for that, and I was doing little odd jobs. I always was able to go to work. I ain't never been lazy. And so I started selling vacuum cleaners and met Brother Donald. And Brother Donald took me to the temple, and lo and behold, who did I see? And when I joined the nation, all my high school friends from Jordan, all them bad actors, they running around now. And I was surprised that they was all saying yes, sir, and being respectful. And that helped me to believe that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was the messenger of God, because I knew them brothers, and I knew they were some hell raisers. But I saw that, Brother T. Wolf and all them other brothers that, So they brought me home to the Nation of Islam. I felt at home then. I wasn't nervous no more. I was just as comfortable as I could be in the Nation of Islam, and I knew that's where I belonged. And so I stayed with it and listened to the teacher and didn't get sidetracked. You know, I love Minister Farrakhan. I love Minister Abdul Kareem, but I followed the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I didn't get sidetracked by them. You know, I didn't forget who I was following. So when they was up there pledging their allegiance to W.D. Muhammad, I said, I think he can't. I said to myself, I said, he can't pledge my allegiance to nobody. I pledged my allegiance. And I didn't pledge my allegiance to WD, regardless of what they were standing up there saying. And I held fast to what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad had taught me, for he told us. I remember Minister Farrakhan, he was teaching us on what the messenger said about the nation being honeycombed with hypocrites. He said, and you'll be walking with one, and you'll all of a sudden, Minister Farrakhan said it. He said, and you'll say, oh, no, not you too. But you didn't, you know, people that you thought was so strong in belief, in their belief in the messenger, you found out that they didn't believe as strong as you thought they did. And any of you that was there when this was going on, you feel free to correct me. You feel free to tell the people if I'm lying. You know, you haven't never known me to be a liar. You can't find no brother or sister that was in the nation that would tell you that Brother Marvin was a liar. No, I ain't no faker. If I tell you that I'm your friend, I'm your friend. This world is full of fakers. People look you right in your eye, tell you they care about you and don't give a damn about you. That's why it's so easy to trick somebody like me. It's because I'm a true friend. And true friends, they don't look for the fault in you. They always trying to help you. But people in this world, they think you're stupid when you try to help them. Oh, okay. Anyway, so look at the people that's mad at me. My own people mad at me because I told them what I was going to do. I told them I was going to help Joe Biden if he won. Didn't I? Well, you shocked now? I tell you why you shocked. It's because you always saying things that you don't mean. I'm not like that. If I said I would do it, I will do it. If Allah let me live, I will do it. I may made a mistake. If I made a mistake, well, I made a mistake. But I tell you this, I didn't lie. And I don't think I made a mistake. And I said I would help the FBI if there's anything I could do to help them to fight these people that's trying to overthrow their government, I will help them. Because I would sure appreciate it if the shoe was on the other foot and people was trying to tear up my country. And I don't mean I'm going to help you go and attack other people's country. I ain't going to help you do that. But I say this, if you are attacked, I'm with you to defend yourself. Defend yourself. How in the world you invent the internet and people using the internet against you and you can't defend yourself? Yes, you can. Do it. They'll leave you alone then. Bet you they'll leave you alone. So, I mean, look, man, you want to come in here and call yourself gonna fight me with the Bible? Well, you may start it. I bet you I'll finish it. We made the Bible. And you nothing but a fool to attack us with our book. We made the scriptures. You didn't make it. And let me straighten out something else. You're talking about Arabic is the black man's original language. All the languages is our original languages. Why you think it says translated out of the original tongues? Just flew right past you, didn't it? But anyway, I'm gonna let you alone. I know you don't mean no harm. And but I just want you to know, we all the languages is ours. Let me let you hear the messenger some more. But I had to let you hear that because it says coming to carry me home. They carried me home. Now I'm here to carry you home. And the only way that I'm going to be able to do that is there's going to have to be a reckoning. Because you don't want to go, but they pushing you now. So, you know, I don't want you to be fretting yourself over voting or not voting. If they let us vote, fine. If they don't let us vote, then they are condemning themselves. Because they already said, I mean, I don't hear none of them saying stop taxing black people. I don't hear them saying that. Well, if you're going to tax us as citizens, then that tells us that you consider us to be citizens. So why are you trying to abridge our right to vote? You pronounced the death penalty for people who did that to you. You declared war. So you've already passed judgment on what's supposed to happen to the tyrant. You sure you want to go there? Okay.
To get the prodigal son just thinking over home, he went to wait on the land that he's in. In that land, the book says, a great famine is, and the poor boy became in want. He couldn't get a job. He had nothing fit to eat, only what the house eats. In his father's house, they didn't allow a hog around there.
Look how quickly. You sure you want to go to war against me? Come on in here and tell me about what you're going to do. Days upon days upon days without a meal. You miss breakfast and think you're going to die. You really don't understand what you're dealing with here. Now, I'm trying to help you. The scientists, the reason that they are talking about this global warming, they know that they have destroyed the earth and God have prepared something frozen up there and down there in the Arctic and in the Antarctic. Just all types of viruses and stuff is in that ice, just waiting Now you don't realize how vulnerable you are. This coronavirus is just a good example. And that's just one. What about the rest of them that's there?
Enemy know that. So he gives him a job he knows he didn't want. Go feed my swine. And the boy's religion was that he should not touch a swine, nor have a swine near him. He was a Muslim. I don't like it, but I'm so hungry that I can let the hogs eat. Remember, brother, that is not past, that's to come here. These parables is directed towards you and me. But did God love his people? He loved that boy, regardless of his sin. He loved him. I'm going after. I promised Abraham I would do so. I can't break my word with my friend Abraham. I must go after. Very beautiful. For 400 years, never Allah didn't know how to pray to him, to come to us. Now today, he touching the earth for his, he finally found them. And it was like a man finding jewel or pearl, that he's not able to take the jewel in at that time due to the enemy that owned the jewel. He goes and he hides. And he goes and prepares to come against that land to take it. Now he's after the country. He's so powerful, well able with the enemy and overcome it. Clouds against him. He set the wind against him. He set the snow against him. He set the ice against him. He set his own friend. Make it impossible. Breathe and get alone in peace. He's after. So, after doing that, he goes and taps his points. Send into his points. Heat up his crop. He's a terrible God to fight.
Now, I want you to understand something. When the president declares war, he don't go out there and tell the generals how to fight it. They know how to fight it. But the armed forces of the United States have been ordered to fight when the president needs them to fight. Then they will tell him sometimes what they planning on doing. Is, like that situation with the going after the leader of terrorists or people that they call terrorists or whatnot, they may tell him that this is how we plan to do it. But when it comes to battlefield actions and deeds, the president ain't out there. That's the armed forces of the United States fighting that. The forces of nature have been ordered to fight with me. They have been ordered to fight on my side. I don't have to tell them what to do. They know what to do. Just like you don't consciously tell your immune system what to do. Your immune system is under the direct control of the brain, and it's called autoimmune system, and it goes on automatically when there's a danger. You created a danger to me, and now you have set in motion the forces of nature to fight you. Remember them threats you used to be throwing at me and all that stuff? Ain't you sitting up behind closed doors scheming about what you're going to do? Well, you set this in motion. Now, let me show you something here.
To see the storm system offshore, but really the center of circulation will not make its way into Cedar Keys area, into the Panhandle, and a potential landfall until midday. Then we'll continue to watch tracking Elsa all the way into Wednesday evening, Thursday evening as well for the Carolinas all the way into West Virginia. We'll still see the storm system tracking into areas of the Northeast as we go into Friday. So a long go with this storm system. Even if it's downgraded at our next update overnight, the potential flood threat and storm surge is going to be a huge problem. That's why we have hurricane warnings. They're still in place for Cross City, Florida, into Southwest Florida as well, Tampa. We're going to continue to watch and look at all these advisories. Now they're stretching all the way into sections of the mid-Atlantic. Now the storm surge overnight, we are going to see a high tide across the Tampa area around 3 a.m. This will mix with that storm and allow water to really flow in. Right now the forecast is calling for 3 to 5 feet for Sarasota into Cedar Keys, and this is going to cause major flooding in this area on top of the rain that we're already seeing, torrential rain coming down currently. On top of that, locally up to 8 inches across central Florida into the Panhandle. Some sections could pick up 10 inches. We're also going to be watching Georgia, South Georgia, as well as the big time flood threat. Expect flood watches to be going into place in the next few hours. Also, the severe weather threat. We have these heavier bands that are making their way across the Keys right now into Southwest Florida, and this is sparking up a few tornadoes that we saw earlier today. A tornado watch still remains in place for this area. The wind speeds, we do have hurricane hunters that are out right now. They only extend about 20 miles, but that will continue to really pick up across Cedar Keys going into later this afternoon into this evening. So the storm, still a hurricane, potentially will be downgraded because it's starting to split apart, Chris, but we still have a long way.
See, now they didn't know what that storm was going to do. They was expecting it to downgrade, and instead it upgraded to a hurricane. So I'm just telling you, you think that this is some kind of joke that this stuff going to pass over and you're going to be ruling us again. No, you ain't. Oh yeah, you this is the end of the world. And the beginning of a world of peace, a world of justice, a world of true freedom, and the equality of man with his fellow man. A world of right. You didn't mean it, but you've been praying it. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come will be done where? On earth. Well, will is going to be done on earth now. And God's will is righteousness. Not this stuff that you doing. So Allah have caught you and locked you in. He that is unjust, let him be unjust still. He that's filthy, let him be filthy still. Why? Because now this is payday. You got to answer for what you've been hiding in your bosom. But now what you've been hiding in your bosom is being made manifest. Let me let you hear something else here. Just a moment.
So the devil blasted the man's life out of him. He didn't, dead man never saw his enemy. Didn't know what he looked like. He died before he could be wakened. He didn't know what killed him. See what kind of people you live among? And that you praise them up and wishes you would stay on with them forever. Look what you are doing. I don't say these men have gotten killed if we had helped them. But that would have helped us from seeing another thing like that. Why didn't you and your followers then, Mr. Muhammad, intervene for such? The reason I did not take no part in it because they had asked me out before they got killed. I spoke about them.
He's talking about the Black Panthers and a few of them other ones over there after drug and free. And he's laying there asleep. They went in there and killed him. And so the messenger is talking about what happened to him.
Forever they got into this death killing stuff. They came to my house. When I spoke about them in our paper, he asked me not to write no more about them. They just keep your paper and don't put us in it. So I said, okay. And I didn't even until today. So God told me to let him go ahead and do it. And they're about wiped out.
The messenger had tried to you walking around, letting the devil show you walking around with guns and ammunition belts and stuff as though you some kind of threat to him. You walking right into his trap. And then after he showed all of those pictures of the Black Panthers with them ammunition belts on, then he just went around and started exterminating them. Do you honestly think that man is stupid enough to sell you something that you can use against him? I remember in the album, The Judgment of the World Is Now. This is what Allah said to them. He said, many nations before you thought that they could stand and contend with God and fight him with his own weapons. He destroyed them, buried them under the sands of Arabia and other eastern lands. You'll notice when hurricanes and stuff rise up and visit your shores, you can't do nothing but run. Tornadoes come waltzing through your community. What can you do about it? Nothing. Then you walk around here acting all proud and puffed up like we gave you some knowledge to make a firecracker or something, and we supposed to be scared of you. No, we're not scared of you. The book told you you better let the Lord be your fear and let him be your dread.
I knew this group was coming, so I went on, and I taken myself in my house and put my mouth in my own paper, said nothing about this, because they didn't appreciate it. They don't appreciate it even today. But tomorrow they will. I think some of our people are so down that God himself can help them. So the knowledge of good, that they won't accept God because they don't know God.
There it is. He said.
Just something I was taught.
And they consider, even after I taught them what God is, God. The mind is what grants dominion to you over your problems. And now you have the God of gods here. You got knowledge, but you don't know what to do with it. All understanding you have, and look at the world and the shape that the people is in under your guidance. You got all these doctors, you got all these scientists, you got all of these engineers, you got all of these people that have all this knowledge, all these gods out here. And you ain't got no peace nowhere. Israel and Palestine been fighting each other since I was a young man. And before that, ain't got no peace yet. All that tells you is that war is a business. They ain't interested in no peace. Everybody making money off of war. How much do one of them jets cost? Every time they shoot down a jet, that jet costs what? $50 million or more? You got to build another. That's a good contract to have. And not to mention the rockets and all of this stuff. That war is the biggest business on earth. War. You don't want no peace. You're just faking. I'm offering you peace now. You don't want no peace. Look at you. You spend all that time teaching us to respect democracy and respect the democratic principles and whatnot. And now you the biggest enemy to democracy. And you the one gave it to us. You're just a liar. You don't believe in nothing that you tell us. See? Now the whole world see you though. See, the internet done fixed it where you can be seen. It's a mirror where everybody on a big window. So everybody can say, you notice they call it windows. Why is it called windows? Because everybody can see into other people's house. I didn't hear you. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you know, you can see through windows. Is that right? Yeah. Now everybody got windows into everybody else's house, and they can see what you up to.
But they will soon know it's coming to pass. And I say to you, hopeless, fly to Allah for refuge in this day and time. It's awful, the thing I see coming. Think over storms and earthquakes, cold weather. Scientists keep telling you it's over here in such and such state. It's all. Yes, sir. Cold. It's going to be so terrific here one of these days that you can hardly breathe. Death walking down the north, freezing your lungs up and you breathe.
Did you hear that? Young gave you a little bit of spot around of it. People dying. That's coming too.
To your lungs. This is on its way to America. And that you will find heat from the sun. Be so terrific that you can't breathe it. That you'll be running, seeking hiding places to find a cool breeze.
Can you imagine? You done been out in it and it was 90-some degrees and you tried to take a deep breath and it cut your wind off? Huh? Yeah. That you're going to get away with all of this scheming that you be doing. You're not going to get away with that. That's you just filling up your cup. You showing the world why Allah's going to destroy you. You were told to stop your wicked work in my day. It's written, 6 days shalt you labor and do all your work, but the Sabbath day shall be a holy day unto the Son of Man. In it thou shalt do no work, and whosoever doeth any work in the Sabbath day shall surely be put to death. That's why you see so many people losing their minds. Their mind being put to death, you see. And you know what happens when your mind goes dark, and the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people. So you go ahead, keep scheming.
Wait. As sure as I stand before you, these things are bound to hit America. Earthquakes are a thing you stir, because it don't give you no place for refuge.
He said earthquakes is a thing that's terrible because it don't give you no place for refuge. When a crevice gonna open up in the earth and it swallow you, huh? Like them sinkholes and stuff, huh? It's many people that never felt the earthquake. It's terrible to see the land doing something like you would expect on the water. Ain't that something? Yes, brother. So you're gonna find out. Let me show you. I don't like to tell you something and then don't me see here. I'd like to give you these things, these truths, so that you can this is the 84th chapter of the Holy Quran. Now, this is the book of Isaiah also. Let me see here. I want to make sure that I give it to you so you don't later on claim ignorance. Yeah. See here. Look like I'm gonna have to. Give me a minute. We got some time. Just be patient. You seek assistance through what? Let's see here. In this 64th chapter of Isaiah, this is I like to make sure that I give you clear evidence. I don't want you to later on come out. I don't like you to be able to say, I don't believe that. I don't believe that was the right understanding. I don't believe. No, you ain't gonna get away with doing that with me. Let's see here. Yeah. All right. Now, see, I likes to look deep into things. As the messenger told me, he said, "Son of man, Allah hath made you a teacher who sees into the depth of things." Yeah. I couldn't say let there be light if I didn't see into the depth of it. Huh? So, light meaning let there be light of understanding. Huh? Okay. Now I want you to look up the word rend, R-E-N-D. And then you go and you look at the synonyms synonym, you notice you got the word synonymous, meanings that words that mean the same thing. Huh? Okay. A synonym is a word that means the same thing as another word. Now, rend, R-E-N-D. It says to tear or split apart or into pieces violently. Remember the 54th chapter of the Holy Quran said the hour drew nigh and the moon was rent asunder. Huh? Split apart. the moon was ripped away from the earth by a great explosion. To show you, you ain't got no explosion powerful enough to do nothing like that yet. And you never will have nothing that powerful. But we had it. And still could do it. But to tear or split apart or into pieces violently, to tear one's garment or hair in anguish or rage, to pull away forcibly, to wrest, W-R-E-S-T, to pull, split, or divide, to pierce or disturb with sound, to cause pain or distress to. It's got all these meanings. You notice the smaller words are the ones with the greatest amount of meanings. We have made the word to have what?
Many connections.
Yes. We have made the word to have many connections, many meanings. Now, let's go here and scroll on down to the synonyms. It says to rend, to tear, break, split, rip, pull, separate, divide, crack, burst. Well, let's go here to the Holy Quran now. In the 84th chapter of the Holy Quran, it says, in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, when the earth bursts asunder, when the heaven bursts asunder and listens to its Lord and is made fit. Which heaven is now bursting asunder and listening to its Lord? Remember, I taught you as the scripture defines heaven. Let's go to the scripture here. The scripture says in the Genesis, the 1st chapter and the 6th verse, it says, and God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. And God made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament, and it was so. Now, where was the firmament located? Where did God say, let the firmament be?
And let the firmament be above the waters.
No, it didn't say that, brother. No.
It says in the midst of the waters.
That's what it said. It says, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters. Huh? That's what it said, right? Okay. And let it divide the waters from the waters. You'll notice the land that's in the midst of the waters, the continents. You can go on every continent and you will see that the continent divides the fresh water from the salt water. Is that right? That's a simple division there, right? You notice when the rivers flowing, I don't know of no salt rivers, but they flow to the sea, and you see where you have trouble mixing for a little while there, don't you? Is that right? Okay. So the firmament divides the waters from the waters. The waters that are above the firmament from the waters which are beneath the firmament. It says, and let it divide the waters from the waters, and God made the firmament and divided the waters which were above the which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so. You'll notice you find water above the firmament on the top of mountains. Is that right? It's called snow, right? And then the waters which are beneath the firmament, and you call them seas and all of that kind of thing, right? Okay. And you also find underground streams, and you find above ground rivers and streams. And the underground is divided from the above ground. Okay. Now, this is a spiritual lesson in here too. Remember now, the book says the heaven is God's throne. If the word is God, and the word is God, if you don't believe the word is God, let me see you do something without a word instructing you how to do it. Name something that you can do without a word instructing you how to do it. Come on, give me something that you can do without a word telling you what to do first. Now notice, I want you to keep up. And the book says, the heaven, it says, swear not at all by the heaven, nor by the earth, for the heaven is God's throne, and the earth is his footstool. Is that right? Okay. Now, what is this heaven that is God's throne? You got to first understand that the word is God. And when you understand that the word is God, then you understand that the brain is the throne. I tell you. Come on now. I'm making it clear to you. And if the brain is the throne, then the brain is the heaven. And the heaven divides the water which is above the firmament from the water which is beneath the firmament, under the firmament. Mine is from above, yours is from beneath. Remember Jesus told you that? Huh? And I rightly divide the two. The brain that's in me can divide both of them from one another. That's my brain that does that dividing. As it says, study now to show yourself approved unto the other gods. A workman that needs not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth, the spiritual truth from the natural truth. I rightly divide the two. Do you understand? Okay. So that's because the heaven is my brain. Now let's see here. It says, when the heaven bursts asunder. Well, the Holy Scripture is the heaven folded up. It's the sun folded up. The light, the truth, folded up. That's how books open and close. They fold. Is that right? Okay. And it says, when the heaven bursts asunder, when it opens up, you notice, when a baby is being formed, that baby is being formed in a membrane filled with water. Is that right? When it's time for the baby to be born, then the membrane bursts asunder. Is that right? So that the baby that's in the volume of that can come out. Is that right? Okay. The mind that's in me came in the volume of the book, in the volume of the knowledge of the natural and the spiritual atoms. His all was there to produce one new man, which started 50,000 years ago when Mr. Shabazz, he said to the other 11, he said, I could make a people that would be so strong that nothing could defeat them. And I could make a man that would be so wise that he would bring an end to us being ruled by 12, and we would have only one. This teaching of having one God, that's a new teaching. They never had no one God. In the black man's history, we had gods. We didn't have one. We had 12 that acted as one, and they took turns. You notice when the Native American had a totem, he had gods of wind, the god of the rain, the god of this, and the god of that. They had a totem with representing gods. I hear you. And everywhere you go and found people with gods, you notice you had Imhotep, you had Amun-Ra, you had Ra, you had Isis, you had all these different gods, right? Never one. But the prophets came representing one God. Huh? It is revealed to me that your God and my God are one God. That's what Prophet Muhammad shared with them. And they didn't like that. When Abraham found them in the Kaaba, had 100 gods in there. And he tore all of them up, but they left one big one. And they said, who did this to our gods? He said, well, that's that big one right there. Ask him who did it. And they looked at Abraham. And they said, you know he can't talk. And Abraham said, do you then worship that which controls no harm or benefit for you, cannot speak, cannot defend itself, and you worshiping it? He said, fire on you and what you set up with Allah. And they saw how stupid they really looked, worshiping something as bad as people talking about they worship cows or worship any animal, these creatures that are deaf, dumb, and blind. Since when is God deaf, dumb, and blind? Anyway, so we don't follow you in that foolishness. You come in here and show me what you worship other than what I'm teaching you, and I will show you that you do a number of worshiping a lie. So I'm here with the true religion, and I'm making it prevail over the religions, all of them. Though the polytheists have an aversion to it, they are against me, but they only against me in private. They can't come out here and argue with me in public because they ain't got no argument. All they got is a lie. So now let's read some more. It says, when the heaven bursts asunder and listens to its Lord and is made fit. What's another word when you just sitting listening? You ever been to court? What do the jury do?
They hear what's been testified.
They as they listen, what are they doing? Who are they listening to?
The witnesses.
They're listening to the witnesses, and when they go back to deliberate, what do they take back there with them? Inside their head.
What they heard.
They bear the witness that they heard out there, huh? Is that right?
Yes, sir.
So when you listening, you bearing witness, aren't you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Says when the heaven bursts asunder, when the heaven opens up, when the heaven when the spiritual heaven opens up and listens to its Lord and bears witness to what coming out of the Son of Man's mouth. You notice I make the Holy Scriptures bear me witness? Hey?
Yes, sir.
Then it's listening to me, huh?
Yes, sir.
All right. Then it says, and listens to its Lord and is made fit. Well, how do you make the heaven fit? You purify it. You make it as it was new. It's made fit now. You notice the way I teach you the Holy Scriptures, they make sense to you and you understand them, and they are made fit for your consumption just as much as food when you get it out of the market. You who like them steaks and you like fish and all that, when you get it home, it ain't fit to eat yet. You got to make it fit. Is that right? You got to cook it. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
I'm cooking, man. I didn't hear you.
Yes, sir.
All right, then. It's good too, ain't it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, brother. I can burn, man. Then it says, with the help of Allah, I'm cooking, brother. Then it says, and when the earth is stretched. What does that mean when the earth is stretched? What happens to a woman's stomach when she gets pregnant?
It expands.
It stretches, don't it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you see how your mind is expanding now? The earthly mind is being expanded. It's stretching. Huh?
Yes, sir.
And listens to its Lord. It says, when the earth is stretched and casts forth what is in it and becomes empty. You notice, you was casting forth all that foolishness that you've been taught by this world. Trying to call yourself arguing with me until you became empty. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
You ain't got no argument no more. I shut all of you down. I didn't hear you.
Yes, sir.
And so now you done became empty. And now you listening to your Lord. And it's being made fit. Huh? You're not looking at the Bible anymore. You remember when I told Geno Jennings that the Bible is not a history book? It's a book of prophecy. He said, are you telling me that all this didn't happen? And I said, no, it's history, all right, but it's history before it happens. And if you put your hand to the Holy Scriptures and look at it as though you looking at a history book, you're not fit to read that book, because you're supposed to be looking forward, not backward, to see what this book is prophesying of to come, not on what has been, but what will be. Do you understand? The Son of Man ain't been here. The Son of Man was yet to come. And so I'm here now. So you in the day of the fulfillment of this. You see? So I'm fulfilling it. It says, so you put your hand to the book and was looking at it as like you talking about the Jews was in bondage in Egypt back in Moses' day and time. Ain't no Jews, ain't no people never been in bondage in Egypt. That was the prophecy about what would happen to us over here in America. America is symbolically called Egypt and Sodom. That's in the book of Revelation. And also, when Jesus was having a conversation with the Jews, he said, if you continue in my word, and then shall you be my disciples indeed, and you shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. And they said, how speak ye that we shall be made free? We be Abraham's seed, and were never in bondage to any man. Well, let's throw your lie out the conversation up. The Jews said they had never been in bondage to any man. And if they say they've been in bondage to a man, where was you ever in bondage, white people? For 400 years. And to who? There ain't no record of that in Egyptian history. But there is a record of a people being in bondage in America. Even the false record that you created was 1612 or 1619. I'm talking about that's when slavery started. No, it started in 1555. When the first load of captives was brought here. Then you breeded us and talk about that part. You see, did you ever wonder how we went from being Kunta Kinte to not trying to even run away from the white man, trying to go back nowhere? We didn't know nothing about going back nowhere because they breeded us and then took the babies. They knew they couldn't make no slave out of them black men and women that had been free, and them men and women wasn't gonna never stop trying to get away. But they knew they could take them babies and they could teach the babies anything they wanted to. They taught us we was cursed. That's why we was black, because we was cursed and doomed to be hewers of wood and drawers of water for our white brothers. He just lied to us coming and going. Huh? Let him come and tell me I'm lying on him and stay on that phone. You see? So, just like right now, you don't even want to go nowhere. You ain't interested in leaving here. You say, I didn't lose nothing in Africa. You lost your mind right here in America. You didn't even understand your own words. He taught us that met us, we was swinging on trees, and we ought to be glad he brought us in. Well, that's the lie he tell. Then when you ask him, well, what is all them pyramids and all of them big carvings of lions and all of this kind of stuff out of granite and stuff? Who did that? Oh, he said some people from another out in aliens built that stuff. It's on the continent of Africa, but where the black man is, but aliens built that stuff. He just told us anything, a liar. So anyway, and you asked him, well, if we was, why did you come all that way to steal us? You had a whole nation of Native Americans. You conquered them. How come you didn't just enslave them? They wasn't over here building nothing. They was living in tents and stuff. When he found us, we weren't living in no tents. We had civilization. And he tricked our king into promising them gold for our labor and stuff. And the king came over here to look at what he had going. And then once he got the king, then it was just a matter of just going back, telling the architects and stuff. The king sent me back over here and told us to bring you back. And by the time they realized what was really going on, it was about too late. So, but that's all right. We done woke up now. See, you'll be surprised what you can do with deductive reasoning. You see? So, his time is up. And our time is now. And see, I'm saying all these things in front of him. All he can do is sit there and listen and be mad and wish he could kill me. And he probably trying to do so anyway, but that's all right. Until Allah let you, you'll just be trying. So anyway, let's go on. It says, now remember now, it says when the heaven bursts asunder and listens to its Lord and is made fit, and when the earth is stretched and casts forth what is in it and becomes empty and listens to its Lord and is made fit, O man, thou must strive a hard striving to attain to thy Lord until thou meet him. You notice you had to strive real hard to try to understand the Holy Scriptures until you met me. Huh? Then now that you done met me, it's easy to attain to the knowledge of the Lord because the Lord himself is guiding you. I didn't hear you. All right. And it says, then as to him who is given his book in his right hand, his account will be taken by an easy reckoning. You notice you all who are willingly in my classes and are humbling yourself, you are being given the book in your brain. It's going straight from me to you. And your account is being taken with an easy reckoning. Why? Because I'm interpreting it for you. I'm interpreting it and I'm giving it to you in language that you can understand. All you got to do is like a baby, just swallow what is given to him. You don't have to try to chew nothing. You just swallow it. And it goes down easy. Is that right? And it says, and he will go back to his people rejoicing. And well, you have to admit that that's what happens when you stood up with me, especially when you first stood up. You went back to your people rejoicing. Said, the Son of Man is here, and he's teaching this. And they rained on your parade quick, didn't they? I didn't hear you. Then it says, and as to him who is given his book behind his back, remember Allah said, Son of Man, give them warning whether they hear you or what? Or whether they forbear, whether they refuse. Well, the classes is going on whether you realize that school going on or not. That's what happened in this world. When you dropped out of school, they didn't stop teaching. They were just teaching behind your back. Why is that? Because you had turned your back on education. The education was there. You just turned your back on it. So you received your book behind your back. Am I understanding that? Are you getting that clear now?
Yes, sir.
All right. And he will call for perdition. You know how people, when you call for some, what's another word for calling for something?
Asking for it.
Asking for it. Yeah, I've many times you don't just like you asking for it. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Asking for what? You asking for a good behind kicking. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
So it says he will call for perdition. He asking for damnation without salvation. It says, and he will enter into burning fire. He will enter in wickedness burneth as the fire. He will enter into the practice of wickedness. And it says, surely he was erstwhile joyful among. Surely he thought that he would never Allah. There can always be wicked people. That's what they say. And, oh yeah, you thought lying was going to be always ordained and put up with, huh? Just like now, these people think they lies and stuff going to always be put up with. No, it ain't. That's what Allah let you think. And it says, yeah, surely his Lord is ever seer of him. It says, but nay, I call to witness the sunset redness and the night and that which it drives on. Yeah. The night and the darkness is forward. It says, and the moon when it grows full. Sin to one state after another. Right? You start off, look at how we ascended to get here. We went from a life germ to a clot to a lump These were all states of our existence. I didn't hear you. To a fetus, I should say to an embryo, to a fetus, to a newborn, to a toddler. We just went from one state to the next, didn't we? Yeah. That you shall certainly ascend to one state after another. But what is the matter with them that they believe not? And when the Quran is recited to them, they adore him not. Thou shalt love the Lord thy God. What's another word for love? Adore. When the Quran is recited to them, they adore him not. Nay, those who disbelieve give the lie. Yeah. And Allah knows best what they hide. I think they hide. So announce to them what kind of chastisement? A painful chastisement. Except those who believe and do good. Those who believe and submit and hear and obey me. For them is a reward that shall never be cut off. And the Holy Bible, the Holy Quran was just reminding us of what the Bible said in that thou wouldst burst the heavens, that thou wouldest come down, that the mountains might flow down at thy presence. Why does it say the mountains will flow down at my presence? That's what starts rivers. The sun is brought into being, and the rivers flow. Huh? I didn't hear you. Then it says, as that the mountains might flow down at thy presence, as when the melting fire burneth, the fire causeth the waters to boil, to make thy name known to thine adversaries. What am I doing? I'm making the word of God known to my adversaries. Huh? That's what Allah said. Son of man, sit on my right hand. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, I am the right hand of God. I'm the second of the two. That's what he said of himself, didn't it? And what you see sitting on his head, the crescent and the star, right? That's on my chest. Son of man, sit there till I make your adversaries your foot. And now I'm making my name known to my adversaries. Huh? And as it says, that the nations may tremble at thy presence. Yeah. The World Wide Web, all the nations of the earth. You just don't know. You all being judged. And I'm telling all of you, treat your people with love and respect. Stop taking misadvantage of people who you have advantage over because you are the president or you are the dictator or whatever you want to call yourself. When you go to the bathroom, don't you have to defecate just like everybody else? Don't you have to urinate just like everybody else? Don't you have to eat just like everybody else? Then if you know you have to do those things and you want to do those things in comfort, why don't you want your people to be able to do those things in comfort? Soon, if you don't change, you're not going to be breathing. As it says, when thou didst terrible things which we looked not for, thou camest down, the mountains flowed down at thy presence. For since the beginning have not heard nor perceived by the ear, neither hath the eye seen, O God, beside thee, hath prepared for him that waiteth for him. You remember you was told to wait on the Lord? And it's not a one of you that saw what I'm showing you now before I got here and showed it to you. Eye hadn't seen, ear hadn't heard, neither had the mind perceived what was prepared. The scriptures was prepared, but they was prepared for only, and that's me. You couldn't come in here and I couldn't either if Allah hadn't guided me to where he explained it. And it says, thou meetest him that rejoiceth and worketh righteousness. Those that remember thee in thy ways. What is that, to remember thee in thy ways? Remember the word of God instead of trying to add their own stuff to it. Behold, thou art wroth, for we have sinned. In those is continuance. Just continuing to sin from one generation to the next. And we shall be saved. Yes. I'm here to save your life. The Son of Man came not to destroy men's lives, but to save them. But we are all as an unclean thing. We are all as an unclean natural mind. That's what you have been. You have borne the image of the earthy. The image, what's the root word of imagination?
Image.
Yes. You have borne the image of the natural mind. And the image of the natural mind is these written books. What is writing? You got these people talking about you take that shot, you getting the mark of the beast and all that. That's not the mark of the beast. The mark of the beast is talking about the education of the beast. What is writing? Writing is marks on paper. And each civilization is now living life on the level of beasts. Look how the knowledgeable ones take misadvantage of the weak-minded. I didn't hear you. Okay. Well, that's because that's the way of the beast. And then they justify it by saying, well, that's the law of the jungle. You know, the survival of the fittest. And that's the way of the beast. And so in each civilization, they have what is called reading and writing. And when you look at, you notice, you look at Arabic in the Holy Quran, because you don't read Arabic, as far as you're concerned, all that is marks on paper. And people who can't read English, all they see is marks on paper. And people who can't read Japanese, they see marks on paper. Or Chinese, marks on paper. And any other language, when you put it in written form, you are looking at marks on paper. And so when you take that knowledge in, when you are able to read that knowledge, then you are receiving the mark of the beast in your forehead or your right hand member. Your right hand is your brain. Just like when people say, look, you got businessmen that say, hey, that's my right hand there. You know, they're talking about some real valuable person that they couldn't get along without. How well will you get along without your brain? Then the brain is the right hand of the body. And you've received the mark of the beast in your brain, the education of the beast. And he made it the law that you have to, and that's a good law, that you got to get educated. You can't live in this world filled with education and walk around here stupid. But when you think that that's enough, then you missed the mark. You missed what Jesus meant when he said, sure, make too yourselves friends of the mammon of unrighteousness. As this in this country, as the book says in Revelation, that the beast, he caused all, small and great, rich and poor, bond and free, to receive a mark. Let me show you here. This is in the 13th chapter of Revelation, and this is the 16th verse. He said, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand, or in other words, in their foreheads. You know that you say, well, I have 2 50-cent pieces or $1, and you're saying the same thing. You're just saying it in a different way. Is that right? Well, as it says, they received, the beast caused all of them, small and great, rich and bond, free and poor, to receive a mark in education in their right hand, in their brain, or in their foreheads. And that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark. I mean, it's kind of hard to buy and sell and run a business and you can't read. I mean, that's kind of hard, ain't it? I didn't hear you. And so you, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. And you notice all of us got the number in this country. When you come into the world, if you didn't have the number, you couldn't even got that what they call the stimulus money. You needed that Social Security number that they taxed you based on. Able to get that 300 and that 600 and that direct deposit thing. And, you know, when you got a bank account, they got your Social Security number. And what is your Social Security number? Your Social Security number is the same as his name. The Social Security number is 554-82-9946. Okay. And what is his name? Caucasian. And how did the dictionary break it up? Into 3 syllables. CAU-CA-SIAN. The number of his name. Do you understand? You see? Now, you hadn't heard nobody explain that and simplify that as and make it so clear that you can't find no argument against it. Now, you run around here listening to these nuts out here talking about a shot is the mark of the beast. Yeah, you're just silly. You're going to get enough of listening to people that don't know nothing. The blind lead the blind, and what happened to them? Especially in a pandemic. You're going to wind up in the ditch. And the ditch is a grave. I didn't hear you. So you better stop listening to all these nutty people. Even the devil was doing what God told him to do. That's why when Satan came and presented himself to the Lord asked him, where are you coming from? He said, from going to and fro in the earth and from walking up and down in it. And the Lord asked him, have you considered my servant Job? The Lord didn't ask him, well, what you been doing? He know what he was doing. Making evil fast seeming. So you go on and you keep on playing your little game. But you're going to wish you had listened to me. Now, who got something they want to ask me before I let you go? A brother and sister. Even I don't care. You hate me. Love yourself. If you, look at all of the people around you. I'm talking to you, white people and black people. Look at the people around you that have taken that vaccine. Now, how many of them Be honest. How many of them have you seen suffer adverse effects from the vaccine? Don't be stupid. When people tell you that this ain't right and that ain't right, ask them, what do you know about viruses? Ask them, I mean, your education, what do you know about it? At least bring them in here and let me talk to them for you. I'll listen to them and I will ask them questions. And if what they say makes sense, I will get on their side and I will tell the people, look, don't make the mistake I made. And I will say, I made a mistake. I shouldn't have took it. And I shouldn't have told others to take it. If they show me clear evidence that there's some kind of harm going to come from taking that vaccine. I know one thing, people are able to travel more now. People are able to feel a little safer now. I want that for people. I want people to be safe. It's wrong for you to condemn without knowledge, to condemn without evidence. That's wrong. You don't go into court with suspicion. You go into court with facts. If you don't have any facts, you don't have a case. Look, I don't just care about people who care about me. I care about people. Period. You notice some of the best friends you have at one time, you never knew them people. You met them one day. You'd have never met them if they hadn't lived. There are people that you may have had fights with, and then you wind up being the best of friends. So that's the one thing that happens in the human family. We're constantly changing, just like the universe around us. You notice matter is steadily changing forms and moving on. All matter that was ever here is still here. May not be in the same form, but it's still here. Matter is eternal. It's everlasting. You cannot create it and you cannot destroy it. Only thing you can do is change its form. The living material that composes our bodies, that material does not die. That material, once we can't hold this form anymore, that material moves on and becomes part of something else. We are from everlasting. We are made from everlasting material. And when we can't hold this form anymore, then we do what we call die. We pass away. But the material just moves on. Life goes on. Okay. Any questions?
Yes, sir.
Yes, what is it?
Vincent Verona is asking about the end date of he said the 25-year cycle, and if there will
There
be.
ain't no more of that. My presence did away with that. As the scripture says, that the scientists, all of them, they threw down their crowns and said, "Worthy is the Lamb to receive glory and honor and riches and power and dominion forever and ever." That is, let me find it for you. You on the Late Show now. Talking about 24 scientists. That day gone. Let's see here. This is the book of Revelation in the 5th chapter. Let's see here. I may want to go to another one here. This is I'm going to start at the 8th verse because I done took the book now. It says, "And when he had taken the book, the 4 beasts and 24 elders fell down before the Lamb." The 4 beasts is the black, brown, yellow, and white people all over the earth. 4 beasts. That's the reason that you are referred to is because you didn't understand the second man, Adam. That knowledge was kept from you. Like the knowledge of reading and writing that man can do, horses and cattle and all of them can't do that. A horse can't read. A cow can't read. The animals, they are beasts. And when it comes to spiritual, and so I'm born in the midst of 4 beasts. And so it says, "And when he had taken the book, and 24 elders, the 24 scientists, fell down before the Lamb." Remember, the stars of heaven fell down to the earth as a fig tree casteth her untimely figs when she is shaken of a mighty wind. You'll notice to speak, you let wind come out of your mouth. Air comes out of your mouth. You ever whispered in someone's ear, you'll see them, it tickles when people whispering in your ear because that's you blowing into their ear while you're speaking. And so one of the names that the scripture gives me is the mighty God. And because I'm have a mighty understanding, so every time I open up a scripture or whatnot, then that scholar or that scientist humbles themselves. They fall down out of the tree, out of the book, and they bear me witness. And so as I went through there counting them, there's approximately 24 of them. You know, Moses got 5 books. Then you got these Hosea and Isaiah and all of them. You count them and you'll see. Well, anyway, and so it says, so the 4 beasts and 24 elders fell down before the Lamb, having every one of them harps. And the reason they call them harps is because that's the one thing that all of the prophets and all of them was told to do. They was all told to bear me witness. And when one person after another keeps saying the same thing about the same person, you say they are harping on that. And so they all had harps. And golden vials full of odors, which are prayers of the saints. And they sung a new song, saying, "Thou art To be worthy is to be able to take the book and to open the seals thereof. As learned that Prophet Muhammad was a seal, and so we make no distinction between any of the prophets, so each one of them was a seal. Do you understand? And so it says, for thou wast slain and hast redeemed us to God by thy blood out of every kindred and tongue and people and nation. Every kindred and tongue. I remember once I got the Holy Quran and it was written in Spanish and I had to send it back. But, the Bible and the Quran have been published in all languages that are in writing. And so I'm able to redeem you out of all kindreds and tongues. And then it says, and has made us unto our God kings and priests, and we shall reign on the earth. The kingdoms of this world are become the kingdoms of our Lord, which is me, and his Christ, which is all of those prophets and the scientists. And it says, and I beheld and I heard the voice of many angels round about many angels come in as round about my brain. You see, I was told, eat up the whole book. And the interaction of the words of Moses with the words of Jesus, with the words of Isaiah, with the words of Muhammad, with the words of all of that interaction, it does in my brain like the interaction of the molecular structure and atomic structure of the sun. Those molecules interacting with each other produces light and produces fire. And so it says, and I beheld and I heard a voice of many angels round about the throne and the beasts and the elders, and the number of them was 10,000, 10,000, and thousands of thousands, saying with a loud voice, worthy is the Lamb that was, and strength and honor and glory and blessing, and every creature which is in heaven and on the earth and under the earth, and such as are in the sea, and all that are in them, heard I saying, blessing and honor and glory and power be unto him that sitteth upon the throne, be upon to the word of God, and unto the Lamb forever. The four beasts said, down and worshipped him that liveth forever and ever. There ain't no more 24 scientists running nothing. It's all under me now, period, forever. The mind that's in me has no replacement. This mind is just ever expanding, and it shall ever rule. So, any more questions? If that wasn't so, you'd be able to find people who could produce an argument against me. You ain't got nobody out there can produce an argument against anything I say. That's why all they can do is come in here and throw some kind of insult and get thrown in hell. Because they should have been given thanks. It's not like I was trying to hurt them. I'm just here trying to help them. And what I get for it? Insulted. But anyway, it's 5 minutes after 11. I'm going to let you go now. And may Allah bless us and keep us safe. Those of us who believe in and accept his word and are hungry and thirsty for his righteousness, continue to bless us. And make no mistake, brother and sister. I'm one friend that if you are true to me, you ain't never got to worry about me. I'm going to always be true to you. So you just rest easy and just wait for that. Be patient. It may look like the wicked is got it, got the advantage. They don't have no advantage. Allah just making sure that this time he get all of them. Do you understand? Okay. So, may Allah bless us and keep us safe and in our right minds, and grant to us a peaceful and pleasant night's rest and a happy, peaceful, and pleasant morning's rise. May Allah's Salaam Alaikum.